Story disclaimer. This story is a work of fiction and is intended for entertainment purposes only. The content includes dark themes, horror elements, and fictional depictions of rituals and sacrifices that are purely imaginative and not reflective of any real-life practices or beliefs. Viewer discretion is advised. This video is not suitable for younger audiences, and parental guidance is recommended. The story does not endorse or promote any harmful behavior, violence, or dangerous activities. Please note that all characters, events, and settings are entirely fictional and created for the purpose of storytelling. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events, is purely coincidental. In the remote village of Nyanya, ancient forces stir beneath the surface, whispering of a dark and forbidden power. When respected villagers begin to vanish, leaving only eerie traces of their presence, Zola and Nia, two brave souls, uncover a chilling secret. A hidden cult, driven by an insatiable thirst for blood, is awakening long-dormant dark spirits to unleash an unimaginable horror. As the village falls under the shadow of a sinister ritual, Zola and Nia must delve into the abyss, confronting terrifying magic and malevolent entities that defy comprehension. But as they unravel the twisted plans of the cult, they discover that the true enemy is far more terrifying than they could have ever imagined. Bound by a cursed pact, the villagers face a descent into darkness where the line between ally and enemy blurs, and the price of survival may be more than they are willing to pay. Will Zola and Nia find the strength to confront the ultimate evil, or will the village be consumed by the shadows lurking in every corner? Dive into secret of the devil's cult and experience a story filled with unimaginable twists, dark magic, and haunting spirits that will keep you on the edge of your seat. In the remote village of Nyanya, hidden deep within the heart of the forest, an ancient and malevolent force is awakening. The village's isolation had once been a shield against the encroaching darkness, but that sanctuary is shattered when a group of hooded figures, led by the enigmatic sorcerer Oba, conducts a chilling ritual in the dead of night. As the full moon casts eerie shadows over the sacrificial altar, Oba chants in a forgotten language, summoning dark spirits from the abyss. His followers, draped in tattered robes and wielding cursed relics, surround the altar, their eyes glowing with a malevolent light. A bound and terrified villager lies at the center of the ritual, a sacrificial lamb to the dark gods they worship. The ritual's power is palpable, the creeping cold that penetrates the very soul. As Oba's incantations reach a fever pitch, the air thickens with oppressive energy. The villagers, witnessing the unspeakable horror from their hidden vantage points, are paralyzed with fear. The dark spirits materialize, their forms shifting and writhing, their whispers promising chaos and destruction. In a moment of unimaginable terror, the spirits claim their prize, dragging the sacrifice into the shadowy void. The villagers, now fully aware of the evil that lurks among them, realize that their lives are forever changed. The ritual has bound them to a fate worse than death, for the spirits demand a tribute of fear and despair in exchange for their dark power. Months pass, and the village of Nyanya remains shrouded in a thick fog of despair. The once thriving community is now a shadow of its former self, its people haunted by the knowledge of the dark ritual and the presence of the malevolent spirits. Yet, even in the depths of their fear, the cult's influence begins to spread, reaching beyond the village. The cult's recruitment methods are insidious. They prey on the weak, the desperate, and those seeking power or solace. The charismatic but sinister figure, Amara, emerges as a key recruiter for the cult. Her approach is both subtle and manipulative, offering false hope and promises of power to those who are most vulnerable. Amara's methods involve dark enchantments that exploit the deepest fears and desires of potential recruits. She uses illusionary magic to create enticing visions of power and success, drawing people into the cult's grip. Once inside, the true nature of the cult is revealed. Its members are required to make sacrifices, including the ultimate betrayal of their loved ones. As more individuals fall under the cult's influence, they are bound by a powerful and dark pact. The once bright and hopeful aspirations of these individuals are twisted into a grim reality of servitude and darkness. The villagers' plight becomes a cautionary tale, as the cult's reach extends further, ensnaring more unsuspecting souls into their malevolent grasp. The true cost of loyalty to the cult becomes brutally clear when a new recruit, Kofi, is initiated into their ranks. Kofi, once a respected healer in Nyanya, finds himself drawn into the cult's web of deceit after the death of his beloved daughter. Consumed by grief and anger, he is vulnerable to the cult's promises of revenge and power. The initiation ceremony is a grotesque spectacle. Kofi is led to a hidden chamber deep within the forest, where the air is thick with the scent of incense and blood. The chamber is illuminated by flickering torches, casting long shadows that seem to writhe and twist with malevolent intent. In the center of the room stands a grim altar, adorned with dark symbols and relics of forbidden magic. Oba presides over the ceremony, his eyes gleaming with a predatory satisfaction. He reveals the true nature of the cult's demands: each member must sacrifice something to gain the full power of the dark spirits. Kofi's horror is palpable as he realizes the depth of the cult's depravity. Yet, bound by a twisted sense of loyalty and desperation for power, he is forced to comply. As the ritual progresses, Kofi is presented with a choice that tears at the very fabric of his soul. He must sacrifice something dear to him to prove his loyalty. The weight of this decision is overwhelming, and the dark spirit's whispers only amplify his torment. In a harrowing moment, Kofi is pushed to the brink of madness as he makes the unthinkable choice. Zola and Nia, a pair of skilled investigators known for their expertise in uncovering occult practices, arrive in Nyanya, drawn by reports of strange occurrences and disappearances. They are initially met with suspicion and fear from the villagers, who are reluctant to speak of the dark forces at work. However, their persistence and the growing evidence of the cult's activities eventually lead the villagers to open up. The investigators uncover a series of cryptic symbols and clues that point to the cult's presence. These symbols are etched into trees, rocks, and even the walls of abandoned houses. The symbols glow faintly in the dark, hinting at the dark magic that the cult wields. Zola and Nia piece together the information, discovering that the cult's influence extends far beyond Nyanya. Their investigation leads them to an old, abandoned mansion on the outskirts of the village. The mansion, once a grand estate, is now in ruins, its walls covered in dark graffiti and occult symbols. As they explore the mansion, they encounter unsettling phenomena: doors slamming shut, cold drafts, and eerie whispers that seem to follow them. In a hidden room within the mansion, they find a journal belonging to one of the cult's previous members. The journal contains disturbing accounts of the cult's rituals and the sacrifices required of its members. The entries reveal the depth of the cult's malevolence and their plans to expand their influence even further. The journal provides Zola and Nia with critical information about the cult's true goals. They learn that the cult is not only interested in gaining power but also in unleashing a powerful dark entity that has been bound for centuries. The entity, known as the Obsidian Wraith, is a being of pure malevolence, capable of immense destruction and chaos. The cult's leader, Oba, has been conducting rituals to break the seal that binds the Obsidian Wraith, intending to use its power to dominate and enslave entire regions. The journal details a series of upcoming rituals designed to weaken the seal and prepare for the Wraith's release. Zola and Nia realize that time is running out and that they must act quickly to stop the cult's plans. They decide to confront Oba and his followers directly, but their preparation is complicated by the cult's use of dark magic to hide their activities. They must rely on their knowledge of occult practices and their ability to resist the cult's manipulative magic. Their investigation reveals that the cult's influence has reached other villages, with members spread across the region, making their task even more daunting. As Zola and Nia get closer to uncovering the cult's full plan, they experience a shocking betrayal from within their own ranks. A trusted ally, who had been assisting them with information about the cult, reveals themselves to be a covert member of the cult. This ally's betrayal is not only a personal blow but also a strategic setback, as they had access to crucial information about the investigators' plans. The betrayal is discovered during a covert operation to intercept a shipment of dark artifacts intended for the cult's rituals. The ally, who had been feeding false information and sabotaging their efforts, reveals their true allegiance in a dramatic confrontation. The betrayal causes a significant setback, as the shipment is lost and crucial evidence is destroyed. Zola and Nia must regroup and reassess their strategy, knowing that the cult is now aware of their intentions. The sense of urgency and danger increases as they prepare for the next phase of their mission. The betrayal also deepens their understanding of the cult's ability to manipulate and deceive, making their task even more challenging. Zola and Nia, now acutely aware of the cult's insidious reach, intensify their efforts to dismantle the organization. Their investigation leads them to an unexpected source of information, a disillusioned cult member seeking redemption. This individual, named Kwame, reveals a chilling secret. A highly respected elder of Nyanya, Chief Bodu, is a key recruiter for the cult. Kwame explains how Chief Bodu, known for his wisdom and integrity, has been secretly working to expand the cult's influence under the guise of community leadership. His role involves enticing vulnerable villagers with promises of protection and prosperity, only to manipulate them into joining the cult and making horrific sacrifices. The revelation is a devastating blow. Chief Bodu's betrayal cuts deep, as he is revered and trusted by the entire village. Zola and Nia face the daunting task of exposing his true allegiance while contending with the growing power of the cult. As they delve deeper, they uncover a hidden chamber beneath Chief Bodu's estate, filled with arcane artifacts and sacrificial implements. The chamber's walls are adorned with disturbing murals depicting the dark rituals and ceremonies conducted by the cult. Among the artifacts, they find a blood-stained robe and a journal detailing the cult's plans to summon a powerful demon to wreak havoc upon the region. The evidence is damning, but Chief Bodu remains elusive. Zola and Nia must tread carefully, knowing that any misstep could lead to their own downfall. They devise a plan to confront Bodu and reveal his true nature to the village, all while preparing for the impending ritual that threatens to unleash chaos. The night of the blood moon arrives, a night when the cult plans to perform a grand ritual to summon the obsidian wraith. The village of Nyanya is eerily silent, its inhabitants oblivious to the impending doom. Zola and Nia, having gathered sufficient evidence, prepare to interrupt the ritual and expose Chief Bodu's treachery. As the moon rises, casting a blood-red hue over the landscape, the cult gathers at a remote altar deep within the forest. The ritual is elaborate and grotesque, involving complex incantations and the sacrifice of a lamb. Chief Bodu presides over the ceremony with an air of malevolent authority, his face obscured by a dark hood. Zola and Nia, cloaked in shadows, stealthily approach the ritual site. They witness the horrific ceremony, their resolve hardening as they see the true extent of the cult's depravity. The dark spirits summoned by the ritual begin to manifest, their forms twisting and writhing with malevolent energy. Just as the ritual reaches its climax, Zola and Nia intervene, disrupting the ceremony and causing chaos among the cultists. The dark spirits, enraged by the disruption, turn their wrath upon the cult members. The confrontation is intense, with Zola and Nia battling both the cultists and the summoned spirits. In the chaos, Chief Bodu flees into the forest, pursued by Zola and Nia. The chase leads them to a hidden underground lair, where Bodu seeks to complete the ritual and secure his own escape. The lair is filled with dark enchantments and traps, designed to deter any intruders. The hidden lair beneath Chief Bodu's estate is a labyrinth of dark magic and forbidden knowledge. Zola and Nia navigate the treacherous corridors, their senses heightened as they encounter various magical traps and illusions designed to disorient and ensnare them. In the heart of the lair, they find Bodu performing a final, desperate ritual to summon the obsidian wraith. The ritual involves an ancient tome, bound in animal skin, and a series of complex magical symbols etched into the floor. Badu, driven by a twisted sense of power and ambition, is determined to complete the ritual even at the cost of his own soul. As Zola and Nia confront Badu, they are met with fierce resistance. Badu's dark magic is potent, and he commands the spirits to attack Zola and Nia. The battle is fierce and brutal, with dark enchantments and summoned entities clashing against the protagonists. Despite the overwhelming odds, Zola and Nia manage to gain the upper hand. They shatter the ancient tomb and disrupt the ritual, causing the summoning process to unravel. The obsidian wraith, partially summoned, manifests in a terrifying form. Its presence fills the lair with an oppressive, suffocating darkness. The partial summoning of the obsidian wraith causes the lair to collapse into chaos. The wraith's presence warps reality, distorting the environment and amplifying the darkness. Zola and Nia, now in a fight for their lives, must navigate the shifting labyrinth and fend off the malevolent entity's attacks. The wraith's power is immense, and its rage is directed at both the cult members and the intruders. It unleashes waves of dark energy, causing the very walls of the lair to writhe and crack. Zola and Nia struggle to keep their footing as the wraith's dark magic engulfs the chamber. Amidst the chaos, Zola discovers a hidden chamber containing an ancient relic, a talisman of immense power capable of banishing the obsidian wraith. However, obtaining the relic requires facing a series of deadly trials, each designed to test their resolve and bravery. As Zola and Nia overcome the trials, they come face to face with the wraith in its full, horrifying form. The entity's power is overwhelming, but the relic's magic provides them with a glimmer of hope. They must use the talisman to perform a banishment ritual, risking their lives to send the wraith back to the abyss. The banishment ritual is a desperate and dangerous endeavor. Zola and Nia, armed with the ancient talisman, face the obsidian wraith in a climactic battle. The ritual involves intricate spells and incantations that must be performed with precision, even as the wraith's attacks intensify. The lair is a battleground of dark energy and shifting shadows. Zola and Nia work in tandem to complete the ritual, their movements synchronized as they channel the talisman's power. The wraith's fury is palpable, and its attacks threaten to disrupt the ritual and consume them. The ritual reaches its zenith as Zola and Nia recite the final incantations. The talisman glows with a blinding light, and the wraith's form begins to unravel. The dark entity is drawn into the talisman's power, its screams echoing through the collapsing lair. With a final surge of energy, the wraith is banished back to the abyss, and the lair's darkness recedes. Zola and Nia, exhausted and battered, emerge from the wreckage. The immediate threat has been neutralized, but they know that the cult's influence still looms over the region. In the aftermath of the battle, Zola and Nia return to Nyanya, only to find the village in a state of devastation. The cult's activities have left the village in ruins, with many homes destroyed and villagers missing or in despair. The once thriving community is now a shadow of its former self. The villagers are in shock, struggling to come to terms with the horrors they have witnessed. The dark spirit's influence lingers, causing unrest and fear among the survivors. The cult's actions have left a deep scar on the community, and the road to recovery will be long and arduous. Zola and Nia work to help the survivors, offering support and assistance as they rebuild their lives. They also continue their investigation, seeking out any remaining cult members and uncovering any remaining threats. Their efforts are met with a mix of gratitude and suspicion, as the villagers grapple with the aftermath of the cult's malevolent influence. Amidst the rebuilding efforts, Zola and Nia discover a hidden cache of dark artifacts and occult texts left behind by the cult. These items provide clues about the cult's future plans and the lingering threats posed by their dark magic. The investigation reveals that the cult's influence is not entirely eradicated, and the darkness that once plagued Nyanya may still have lingering effects. As the village of Nyanya begins to recover, Zola and Nia uncover evidence that suggests the cult is regrouping and planning a resurgence. The surviving cult members, though weakened, are determined to continue their dark rituals and extend their influence. The investigation leads Zola and Nia to a series of clandestine meetings and secret gatherings where the cult's remnants plot their return. They learn that the cult is seeking out new recruits and forming alliances with other dark entities to regain their strength. The resurgence is marked by a series of disturbing events, including the appearance of dark omens and unexplained phenomena. The villagers report strange occurrences, such as ominous visions and shadowy figures lurking in the night. The cult's dark magic continues to cast a long shadow over the region, threatening to undo the progress made in the aftermath of the initial conflict. Zola and Nia must act quickly to thwart the cult's plans and prevent their full-scale return. They gather allies and resources, preparing for another confrontation with the dark forces that seek to reclaim their power. The shadows of Nyanya grow longer as the cult begins to reassert itself. Zola and Nia's investigation reveals that the remnants of the cult have found a new leader, one who is both cunning and ruthless. This new figure, known only as Icon, is a master of dark magic and manipulation. His arrival signals a new and even more dangerous phase for the cult. Icon, a former priest of an obscure, ancient religion, possesses formidable abilities in summoning and controlling spirits. His reputation as a necromancer is well earned. He can invoke spirits from the underworld to perform his bidding. With an iron will and a mastery of forbidden rituals, Icon quickly establishes dominance over the remaining cult members, who are eager to regain their former power. The first sign of Icon's influence appears when villagers report terrifying visions of ghostly apparitions and hear haunting whispers in the night. These are not mere hauntings but manifestations of Icon's dark magic. He uses these spirits to instill fear, demoralize the villagers, and suppress any resistance. The spirits, twisted and malevolent, seem to drain the life force from those they encounter, leaving a trail of despair and exhaustion. Zola and Nia, deeply disturbed by these developments, decide to investigate further. They discover that Icon has been using a cursed artifact, known as the Shadow Pendant, to amplify his powers. This pendant, once worn by an ancient warlock, has the ability to bind spirits to the wearer's will and grant them control over dark forces. During a covert operation, Zola and Nia manage to infiltrate one of Icon's hidden sanctuaries at a decrepit old temple buried deep within the forest. The temple is a grotesque sight, adorned with blood-stained symbols and dark sigils. Icon performs a ritual involving the Shadow Pendant, summoning a legion of spirits to wreak havoc upon the land. The spirits are not mere illusions but real entities with their own agendas. They are bound to Icon's will through dark magic and are used to manipulate and control. Zola and Nia witness these spirits tormenting and manipulating the villagers, exploiting their fears and weaknesses to turn them against one another. Zola and Nia confront Icon in the heart of the temple. The battle of wills and magic ensues. Icon's command over the spirits is formidable, and his mastery of dark magic allows him to counter their every move. The fight is intense, with Icon summoning nightmarish spirits that attack with ferocious intensity. As the battle rages on, Zola and Nia realize that they must neutralize the Shadow Pendant to weaken Icon's hold over the spirits. With every effort, they fight through the hordes of spirits and overcome Icon's dark magic. The climax of the confrontation sees Zola and Nia shattering the Shadow Pendant, causing a backlash of dark energy that disrupts Icon's control over the spirits. The spirits, now freed from Icon's influence, become chaotic and vengeful. They lash out unpredictably, and the once powerful necromancer is left vulnerable. In the ensuing chaos, Zola and Nia manage to capture Icon, but the cost of their victory is steep. The temple is in ruins, and the dark energies released have left a lasting mark on the land. The aftermath of the confrontation with Icon leaves the village of Nyanya in a precarious state. Though Icon has been captured, the dark spirits he summoned continue to plague the area. The villagers are in disarray, struggling to understand the new threats that loom over them. Zola and Nia, determined to help the community recover, set out to address the lingering darkness. Zola and Nia's next step is to investigate the dark rituals performed by Icon. They discover that the rituals were part of a larger, more sinister plan to summon an ancient and powerful spirit known as the Fallen One. This spirit is said to be a harbinger of destruction, capable of wreaking havoc on an unimaginable scale. The Fallen One's influence manifests in disturbing ways: crops wither, water sources become tainted, and ominous omens appear in the sky. The villagers are plagued by nightmares and visions of a desolate future. The Fallen One's presence is a constant reminder of the impending catastrophe that could engulf Nyanya. Zola and Nia, guided by the knowledge they've gathered, prepare to perform a counter-ritual to banish the Fallen One and restore balance. This ritual requires rare and powerful ingredients, including a sacred herb known as the nightshade lily, which only blooms in the heart of the cursed forest where the dark magic is strongest. As they venture into the forest, Zola and Nia encounter spirits that have been twisted and corrupted by the Fallen One's influence. These spirits are malevolent and aggressive, attacking anyone who ventures too close to their domain. The forest itself seems to resist their presence, with shadows shifting and the air growing colder with every step. In a harrowing sequence, Zola and Nia face off against the spirits and overcome a series of dark trials designed to test their resolve. They reach the heart of the forest and find the nightshade lily blooming in a desolate glade, its petals glowing with an eerie light. With the herb in hand, they return to the village to perform the counter-ritual. The ritual is a tense and dramatic affair, involving intricate incantations and the use of the nightshade lily to draw out the Fallen One's essence. As they perform the ritual, the spirit's presence becomes more palpable, manifesting as a swirling vortex of darkness and despair. The battle against the Fallen One is a struggle of epic proportions, with Zola and Nia fighting to keep the spirit's influence at bay. The climax of the ritual sees the Fallen One being banished back to its realm, but not without leaving a mark. The village is left scarred by the dark magic, and the recovery process will be long and difficult. Zola and Nia's efforts have prevented a greater disaster, but the effects of the Fallen One's presence will be felt for years to come. As Zola and Nia work to restore some semblance of peace to Nyanya, the cult's desperation grows. With Ikon's defeat and the Fallen One's banishment, the remaining cult members face a dire situation. Their powers have waned, and their influence is diminishing, pushing them to the edge of madness. The cult, now led by a shadowy figure named Asha, becomes increasingly reckless. Asha is known for her unyielding thirst for power and her willingness to do whatever it takes to restore the cult's former glory. She organizes a series of increasingly brutal rituals, hoping to regain control over the dark forces she once wielded. In their desperation, the cult performs the ritual of blood and shadows, a horrifying ceremony intended to summon a new, more powerful demon. This ritual involves an intricate series of blood sacrifices and the summoning of ancient, nightmarish entities from the abyss. The ceremony takes place in a hidden, subterranean chamber beneath an abandoned shrine. The chamber is a grotesque sight, walls lined with animal bones, the floor covered in blood-soaked symbols, and an altar made from the remains of animals. The air is thick with the scent of decay and the oppressive weight of dark magic. Asha and her followers begin the ritual, chanting in an ancient, guttural language as they draw arcane symbols in blood. The sacrifices, bound and terrified, are laid upon the altar. Their pleas for mercy are drowned out by the chants and the eerie, resonant hum of dark magic. As the ritual progresses, the chamber fills with an unnatural darkness. Shadows twist and writhe as if alive, and the air crackles with malevolent energy. The cultists, driven mad by their desperation, become increasingly frenzied, their movements erratic as they perform the sacrifices. The climax of the ritual is both horrific and surreal. As the final sacrifice is made, the altar erupts in a burst of dark energy, and a hideous, otherworldly entity begins to manifest. Its form is a writhing mass of shadows and tentacles, with eyes that burn with a malevolent glow. The entity is a horrific blend of demonic features and corrupted spirits, its presence filling the chamber with a palpable sense of dread. Zola and Nia, having tracked the cult to this hideous sanctuary, arrive just as the entity begins to take shape. They witness the grotesque spectacle of the summoning and the raw desperation of the cultists. The sight is both shocking and disturbing, as the cult's actions have unleashed a force beyond their control. In a desperate bid to stop the ritual, Zola and Nia engage the cultists and the emerging demon in a harrowing battle. The chamber becomes a chaotic battleground, with dark magic and demonic entities clashing against Zola and Nia's resolve. The entity, now partially summoned, unleashes waves of dark energy that threaten to consume everything in its path. The confrontation is intense and brutal. Zola and Nia fight against the cultists and the demon, using every resource at their disposal to thwart the ritual and banish the entity. The chamber, once a place of dark ceremonies, becomes a battleground of chaos and destruction. In the final moments of the battle, Zola and Nia manage to disrupt the ritual and banish the emerging demon. The entity's form collapses into a swirling vortex of darkness, with its cries of rage echoing through the chamber as it is dragged back to the abyss. The cultists, devastated by their failure and the loss of their dark power, are left in disarray. The defeat of the demon and the collapse of the ritual leave the cultists in a state of despair. Their once feared leader, Asha, becomes increasingly unhinged. The loss of their dark power and the failure of their summoning have driven her to the brink of madness. Asha's descent into insanity is marked by disturbing and violent outbursts. She begins to perform ritualistic acts on herself, using blood to draw dark symbols on the walls of her sanctuary. Her behavior becomes erratic when she starts to perceive hallucinations of the demon she failed to summon. The remaining cultists, now leaderless and fearful, attempt to salvage what remains of their power. They engage in increasingly desperate and grotesque rituals, hoping to regain their lost influence. These rituals involve the most horrifying forms of sacrifice and dark magic, including necromancy and the summoning of vengeful spirits. In a particularly chilling scene, the cultists perform a ritual to bind the souls of the recently sacrificed victims to their will. They dig up the animal bones from the shallow graves and perform a necromantic ceremony to enslave the spirits. The ritual is both grotesque and disturbing, with the spirits' anguished cries echoing through the darkened chamber. The spirits, once innocent, are twisted by the dark magic and forced to act as instruments of the cult's will. They become vengeful and malevolent, attacking anyone who dares to approach the cult's lair. The once hidden sanctuary becomes a nightmarish domain, filled with tortured souls and dark enchantments. Zola and Nia, aware of the cult's continued activities, venture into the heart of this dark domain. They encounter the twisted spirits and the remnants of Osha's madness. The scene is harrowing, as they navigate the labyrinth of the cult's depravity and face the malevolent spirits that now guard the sanctuary. Will Zola and Nia defeat the twisted spirits they encounter in the sanctuary? You will find out in the next episode.